Welcome to Supply Chain Management. In this video, we are talking about green and reverse logistics, and then we'll touch the topic about sustainability in the supply chain. So what is green logistics? The definition is that green logistics include activities measuring the environmental impact of different distribution strategies, reducing the energy usage in logistics activities, and reducing waste and managing its treatment. Now, creating a sustainable company value using a balance of economic and environmental efficiency, it's also another way of looking at green logistics. It is also important to realize that green logistics is mainly driven by regulation and often by customers' pressure. So regulations, for example, by the government, that is asking companies to be greener, right, and more sustainable, environmentally speaking, but not just environmentally, also socially, as we'll see shortly. But at times it can also be the customers are pressuring a company to, like a supplier, to be more green. Let's look at this brief video on a nice view of what green logistics stands for.
Something I always tell both Agility employees and customers is that green logistics is actually just good logistics. We are logisticians. It is our job to optimize supply chains and think about things like time and cost, but also environmental impact and performance. And the more efficient the supply chain, the more likely it is to also be one that reduces the environmental impact.
To drive this point to convey to this video that being more green a lot of time also means being more efficient, I would like to highlight how green logistics, although it's often confused with reverse logistics, the two things are not the same. Reverse logistics is that process of implementing the effective flow of all goods, right, from the point of consumption, so from the delivery all the way back to the origin, so the other way around, right, moving upstream, with the purpose of recapturing some value or proper disposing the goods. Now you can see in this nice diagram how some activities actually do fit into both the green and reverse logistics definitions, but some are separate. For example, the returns of product marketing or secondary returns, this is a pure reverse logistics matter. While it is only green logistics when we're talking about packaging reductions or reduction of air and noise emissions and environmental impact of mode selection. So this activity would be green, but not necessarily a part of reverse logistics. What fits in between both of them would be something like recycling, remanufacturing, reusable packaging. It is important to keep these two separate and understand how they fit together and how they don't. I would like you to show this brief video about really the concept of green versus reverse logistics and the circular economy. Let's take a look.
Just as life does not stop at your business's door, your business does not stop once your product is sold. You may prefer to not think about the future of your products. You may think it's none of your business. In fact, you could be ignoring a profitable opportunity, since the resources in the products you sell today can be recovered and recycled into resources for products you will sell tomorrow. One option is to create a reverse logistics system on your own, where you take back the products that you sell to your customers. This may be easier to do if you are operating in a business-to-business operation. If, for example, you provide company offices with homemade apple juice, you could take back the empty bottles rather than letting your customer throw them away. You could formalize this process through a contract or systems like deposits. Once you get the empty bottles back, you just wash them and reintegrate them back into the supply chain. This is a simple case, but if your product is more complex, or if your business is too small to set up a reverse logistics circuit on your own, you can pool resources and have a shared organization that collects and recycles on your behalf. The following example from France is a good one. 6 main manufacturers of mobile homes have joined forces to collect, dismantle, and recycle old homes. This reverse logistics system is financed through an environmental contribution of €100 for each new mobile home sold. Now, whether you apply reverse logistics on your own, or if you partner with similar manufacturers, for certain waste flows, you don't even have a choice. Indeed, there is a principle in Europe known as Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR, according to which you're responsible for the products you place on the market at the end of their life. This is the case for a growing number of products, including packaging, electric and electronic equipment, batteries, etc. Under these requirements, you have to take back the products you sell yourself, or you have to join an organization which takes care of waste collection and recycling. Last but not least, be it mandatory or voluntary, be it on your own or with others, reverse logistics ensures that recovered resources feed loops that facilitate better supply, as was seen in the first part of the video. If you start including reverse logistics in your operations, your old products don't simply become waste, they become raw materials for a new product. You are now at the heart of a circular economy.
As you can see, and it's also highlighted in this video, there are pressures coming from governmental regulations on this need to recycle and have a green view of the logistical processes. Now, it's interesting to see how many items require reverse logistics. And here we have not even fully comprehensive list. We have product returns, for example, from customers. We have product recalls, which is when, for example, a manufacturer ships out and starts selling a product and then realizes that maybe there was a defect on the product that would make maybe the brand value come down, and they prefer recalling and taking it out to the market. Or maybe this defect can be dangerous for the customers, so they really need to urgently recall it so that there won't be injuries made to the customers. End of lease equipment. So for example, if you lease a car, once the car is returned at the end of the lease, the dealership will have to do something with this car. End of life product or old obsolete items, right? There are items that no longer should be in circulation, either because they're very old and no longer really used and there's no point in keeping it there, or because a new version of a product has been launched and then the manufacturer wants maybe the old one to be taken completely off the market to ensure sales of the new version. I have packaging materials can be returned, and then of course hazardous materials. So most manufacturers are actually responsible for the return and the disposal of the hazardous materials. There are components as the components of their product. Once again, reverse logistics is not necessarily green, especially if it's about reverse flow only, so it doesn't have a holistic view of the process. If it ignores energy efficient mode of transport or clean energy usage, and if it just purely increases transportation without added benefit to process. Now let's talk about sustainability in the supply chain. A sustainable supply chain is this strategic integration and achievement of social, environmental, and economic goal of an organization. And this is very important. Now, the goal is to improve a long-term economic performance of both the individual and the entire supply chain. These three pillars are very meaningful. So you see on the first pillar here, we have environmental sustainability. So making sure that noise is down, that you're reducing pollution or water consumption. But it can also have sustainability from the social standpoint. So ensuring there is human rights, no exploitations of humans or children, for example. And of course, there needs to be also economical sustainability, as in the company needs to stay profitable. Otherwise, if it goes bankrupt, it is by definition not sustainable. And aligning all three is actually where the challenge is, and that is what sustainability is about. Sustainability is a really big trend nowadays, and to the point that worldwide we have what we call Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs for short, that most companies need to measure and report. So corporate reporting right now not just includes key performance indicators, but they need to also measure and report SPI, so Sustainable Performance Indicator, and with the idea that this transparency in all activities can drive sustainability globally. So let's look at a simple example of how a sustainable idea has been implemented at HP.
The idea of a straw pallet program started more than 3 years ago. We thought it was a great idea as it fits into our sustainable impact framework for the planet, people, and the community. The straw pallet is manufactured in Taizhou, China. Straw is kind of agricultural waste. It's almost useless for farmers. For farmers, the simplest and quickest way is to burn it. However, straw waste burning is one of key contributors of air pollution and has caused bad harm to public health. The straw pallet provides an opportunity to better utilize straw waste instead of burning it. Also, farmers will get a subsidy from the Chinese government of straw waste removed from the field.
Now, this is a very great example, but sustainability can be more complex than one think. Now, sustainability in the supply chain should encompass, hopefully you remember this view of the process and process characteristics within the supply chain. And sustainability should focus on all aspects of this process. So at the supply side, right, for all the inputs that come from the suppliers, of course at the firm, right, the business processes of your own firm, and also at the customer side, the output and how that is then managed. So let me give you an example. Let's look at a car battery manufacturer. In this case, for example, from the supplier side, we should look at social and environmental circumstances, for example, at the mines. The focal firm, of course, needs to look at their working conditions and maybe the energy use at their factory. And as an output, you might want to check that the customer then has some recycling plans. So you have some recycling plans together with the customer to make sure the return of the product is done in a green manner. But implementing this is not always easy. Let me give you an example. So if you're looking at social environmental circumstances in the mines, would you choose, for example, for cheap product that guarantees some good working condition but is not good for the environment? Or are you going to look for more intermediate solutions where you have bad working condition but it's not bad for the environment? Or you might want to have a more expensive component where you can guarantee good working conditions to the employees and is not bad for the environment. You see how there is a bit of a dilemma sometimes in some of the decision that a company needs to make to align the 3 pillars of sustainability. What it really comes down to is that all aspect of the supply chain needs to be sustainable for someone to claim sustainability in their supply chain. So just claiming that you have a recycling plan with your customer is not sufficient. In this video, we talk about green and reverse logistics, how they're similar and different, and then we talk about sustainability in the supply chain. Quick knowledge check. Can you determine what is green, what is reverse, or what is both?